see you be everywhere too on social media. Let me mute this.
As y'all can all see, Lomas Brown is up, moving about right when we start our show. So, Lomas, say hi to everybody as you're walking around.
Hey, hey, everybody! Hi, hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have to welcome everybody in, man, to our stream. And then again, if you get a chance, definitely hit subscribe and our like buttons on all our channels. Follow us on our social media channels. But we're always moving about. Today, I had to do a commercial shoot with Jameer Gibbs down at Gardner White. We just wrapped that up. So that's why I'm coming to you instead of from my beautiful interior part of my car or Lomas Brown looking outside of his car at the first responders. We're bringing you live today from Gardner White. And Lomas, where you at today, man?
Man, I'm at the house.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
to.
no, yeah. I said it with attitude. I'm home. I'm
Hey,
at
well,
the
man, look,
house.
I'm not the problem at your house. Like, I don't know what you got going.
Yeah.
You need to fix that on your.
It ain't going. The only thing going on is me and you on this airwave right now. That's what's going on. So it ain't no beef at the house. The beef is over the internet right now.
Wait a minute, brother. Why are you putting all that air in your chest? Why are you
I
bringing?
know. Yeah, you're right. It's a whole bunch of air, and there's some hot air up in this chest
Oh,
too, Herm. Some
is
hot air.
that's because of the game, right? Well, you already see what I'm rocking. For those that don't know, bam, boom, boom, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you know,
oh.
you get it too. So if you want
So
some,
wait a minute. I'm gonna see if you truly you if you truly are valued to this shirt. So can I use the word Super Bowl now? Can I say this without your eyebrows coming up like that? Can I say the most dominant team in the NFL? Can I say everything seems like it's going to run through Detroit, meaning the number one seed in the NFC? That means all the playoff games come to Metro Detroit. Can I say that without your eyebrows going up, Herman Moore?
I can tell you this. You can say it, and I'll go. I can feel that. I can say, okay, I can feel where you're coming from, but I've seen too often where, and this isn't pessimism, there's still 8 games, bro. I want this team to stay focused. Forget about, man, whether or not they're trying to go to the Super Bowl right now. They're just trying to win the next game. They try to beat up on the Jags. They try to make sure that people understand. Everybody said the king of the jungle. The Lions are not in the jungle. We're talking about we're the kings of the NFC. We're the kings of the NFL right now. That's what I'm looking for these guys to do right here. And we definitely kings of the North. I already
Okay.
told you. So you can say that. Only thing I'm
Yeah.
always weary of, and I'm telling you, man, if I'm a coach, I'm in the locker room, Coach Campbell, even if he's doing it, he is saying right now, next game, next game.
Absolutely.
And
Next
you,
game.
it's
But
cool to have attitude you haven't. I ain't got no problem with that. I have
but
no
Herm,
problem.
haven't they every obstacle they cross? Okay, you guys can't play. Jared Goff can't play outside. He can't
Who said?
play in the cold. He can't play when it's raining. They went and they debunked that. You
Who
know
said?
what I'm saying? Everybody was saying that before the game. You know, before the
That?
Green Bay game. That was the big thing before Green Bay. So I'm just saying everything that they needed to do and needed to be focused on every task at hand other than finishing the Tampa Bay game, they've done. They showed that they're able to block out the outside noise. They're able to block me out saying Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They're doing what they need to do, and that's why Herm. The only thing I think that will derail this team would be injuries. That's the only thing. I don't see them not. I don't see them losing their focus. I don't see Dan Campbell and that staff letting them do that. These guys are hungry. You know, I'm telling you, that's the only thing right now that I would fear. I don't fear any team in the league.
Now, so here's where I'm gonna roll with you. I don't think this team fears any team. I agree. I don't think this team is concerned about. I think the question was answered. I think this was one of those games where if you had concerns, questions, you want to really figure out if the shine was really real for this Detroit Lions team. I think it was answered. It was, everything that we've heard about this team, grit. We've heard about the fact that they played together as a team. We heard about their discipline. We heard about the way they roll, one for all for one. And then when you talk about the next person up or the next player up, they epitomize that. So all of those things were validated by this team in their comeback win against the Texans. But I will say this: I think there was some exposure. There was,
Absolutely.
and when you say everything runs through that, that's why I get a little concerned to just say
But,
this team isn't invincible. It has
right.
vulnerabilities, but
But but
but
Herm,
but but they have what is necessary, and they have all the components that make them a Super Bowl contender and make them a
Herm,
Super Bowl bound opportunity, a team that has the opportunity to do that. So no, that's all I'm
Herm,
saying.
5 turnovers, Herm. 5 turnovers. And like I
But
say, I would say this. I'm gonna go on the air and say this, and I know it's gonna get me in a little hot water, but I'll say this. To me, that was probably Ben Johnson's worst calling game as an OC for us.
why do you say that?
Because it was just some things that happened in that game. It was okay, for instance, a couple of plays, we had short yardage situations. Herm, a lot of times in short yardage situations, you don't want to run long developing plays. You
It's
want to
all
run
downhill.
quick hitting plays, right? You want the guy going forward, going, and we ran too many kind of like misdirections, too many linemen pulling in short yardage situations, too many plays, too many zone plays more than hitting it downhill. And then you look at I'll go back to the first half of the game. You look at the situation with 2 minutes left before halftime. We had the ball then, and we had an opportunity to get into our 2 minute offense and try to get the ball downfield and put up points. Herm, we ran the ball 3 times. I think we ran it 3 times and maybe threw it once or ran it all 3 times, in the 2 minute situation. So therefore, we really didn't get into there. Then we punted the ball to them. Defense had a hell of a defensive stand, gave us the ball back with 23 seconds left. Then we tried to go into our 2 minute offense then with a longer field. It just, that was just a sequence that I'll say I haven't seen out of Ben Johnson. And Herm, everybody's gonna have an off day. Everybody is. I don't care, coaches, training staff. Everybody's gonna have an off day one day, and I just think, to me, that was probably one of his off days.
Well, here's where I'm gonna go with that. I think that there are some plays that were a little questionable, but at the end of it, I think he was staying true. You think about Coach Campbell when he makes certain calls as
True.
a coach. Some work, some don't, but they live and die by it. Same happens defensively. The same will happen offensively. I don't think Ben Johnson necessarily. I don't think it was necessarily a bad call. I just think that the Texans came out and they played aggressively defensively. They were downhill with their linebackers. If you look at how much they crowded the line of
So
scrimmage, and
you're right.
this is one part that I looked at. If you look at the depth of their linebackers, even when they would go 4-3 or they would go a 4-4, man, they would sometimes place it to where those linebackers, man, were sitting 3 yards back. They're not 5 yards, so they were
But
closer to the line of scrimmage. So when we do downhill running, those guys were jumping into the line
but
so
Herm,
quick.
but
They were on
but
the run
what
back before that.
But Herm, how you counter that is quick hitting plays. You do wham blocks, meaning you do influence. You let them come upfield, and then you trap those guys. That's what they used to do against Ndamukong Suh. And when we had a real good D line, because those guys were so aggressive, they would basically take themselves out of play. So you hit them with traps, quick hitters. That's how you defeat those guys up in the gap and them playing downhill. And like I said, a lot of times we were running zone plays, and that, like you saying, man, penetration kills zone plays. And going into that game, Houston led the league in tackle for losses. So that's how they play, Herm. So we knew that coming into the game right there. So again, and you're right. I shouldn't just say this, but I'm just observing what I've seen out of Ben Johnson, the level that he takes it to, the adjustments that he makes during the games. I just expected a little faster adjustment. I'll
I'm
say
just
that out of him.
below. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on a couple things here. Here's why I disagree. I think they had a good play call. I think they had a good game plan defensively. They crowded the line, man. The Lions have been benefiting from the running game because it always seems like the linebackers and the linemen who were getting trapped, who were having plays where we were going downhill, the running backs were up on the linebackers so fast because the linebackers were 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. They crowded the line, and they also had the ability to sit there and say, you know what, we're going to also cover St. Brown. We're going to go in and out on him, and sometimes we're going to play a little bit of man. So they really made the Lions be challenged in checking out of plays because they used the motion to determine what the defense is going to do. And what they were doing is they were just sliding the defense. They weren't changing the defense, which we saw other people doing. And I think they just had the Lions figured. I'm just telling you, it was a dominant
So,
first. And
okay.
while there were some turnovers, I get that, right? There were some opportunistic times, but you got to think of this. The Lions defense also came up big because on some of those turnovers, whether it was getting the holding penalty or down on the 1 yard line, that could have easily been a touchdown for the Texans, or if it was them having the opportunity to have the miss a wide open touchdown pass that was floated by Stroud. So there's a lot of ways you can look at breaking down this game, and I think they were just a really good defensively
But
matched
Herm,
team
but
to the Lions scheme.
okay. But Herm, so my counter to that is okay, they're 8-1 right now. We got 8 more games to go. Like that film's gonna circulate these next 4 weeks. Am I
Absolutely,
right, Herman? So
absolutely.
everybody's gonna look at what they did. So now it's gonna be on us. Like I said early in the year, it's gonna be on our OC, our DCs to make the adjustments now that they know that these teams are doing that. But Herm, going into that game, they knew Houston was an aggressive team. Like I said, Herm, they led the league in tackle for losses. So you knew that going into that their style was hitting those gaps, crowding the line of scrimmage. So again, Herm, so we got Jacksonville. Okay, you go in there and you say lowly Jacksonville, but you better believe Jacksonville's gonna come in. The team don't have nothing to gain, right? Because they're probably gonna have a new coach at the end of the year. They're gonna probably have to hit the reset button at the end of the year. They have nothing to lose. So they're gonna come in throwing the sink at us again. They're gonna watch that Houston film. They're going to do a lot of the similar, try to do, if the personnel is there, they're going to try to do a lot of the similar things that Houston did to slow us up in the first half because they did. Now, the great thing, Herm, I think Ben, he came out in the second half. He did make the adjustments, and that's what you look for from great coaching staff to make adjustments.
Yeah, they made the adjustments, but I'm going to go back to a couple of real quick things. So I think that teams can try and run the same schemes. We know that teams will copy playbooks you carry over. The Lions are going to be guilty of it as well. They're going to find out what has worked against their opponent. They try and figure out what is their best coverages that kind of mimic or match that and bring that to the table against the following week's opponent. And they try and create these areas where they attack the weaknesses. But in doing that, sometimes you have to also remember every team has vulnerabilities. Every team has weaknesses, and it's all about exposing them. And here's the concern that I think, you know, if I'm an opponent of the Lions, I'm gonna look at is they stop the Lions running game. I think that is their source of confidence. That's what gets the
Absolutely.
defense going. They
Absolutely.
shut down your number one wide receiver. They wouldn't even let him get near the ball. They wouldn't let him touch the ball. So now you had to really figure out and find somewhere. Jamison Williams comes up with a couple clutch plays. He comes up with a couple big catches. And then just having his presence, you look at the respect that they had to give on the secondary, play the safeties a little bit deeper when he was in the game. But then ultimately it freed up Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is a guy that comes out and he has some really big catches. And they were doing it with guys that sometimes, but that were missing in the offense. And I'm only saying that to say this.
But
I think they
Herman,
were making adjustments though, Lo. The problem is you just had a team and I'm gonna have to jump on Houston a little bit here. To have a lead like they had at was it 23-6.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
5 turnovers in this ball game. That on paper, 90% of the time you lose that game. 9 out of 10 times you lose in that game. They did a lot of things when they came out of the half that they got away from. That was a rollout. That was the quick hits. They were doing some things. You know, when Mixon started complaining about the ball, I think he got the coordinator, he got the offense out of rhythm, and there were some other intangibles that turned the tide. It's more than just gameplay. I think they got out of whack because they felt like, okay, we're going to force the run when the run wasn't there. The Lions were doing a great job. Lane Neal, and you got, all you guys outside
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah. DJ
You got all these guys.
Reader. Yeah.
They're all out there
O'Connor. Yeah.
controlling, right? So they were dominating the line, and ultimately they were able to get the passes out really quick, wear down this aggressive Lions front line, and then try and get some exposure on the corners. They got away from that. They didn't try much of that at all. They were getting in, run the ball, throw the ball. They became very predictable. And I'm telling you, when they face other teams that have balance, not only do they have an aggressive defense, but they have a competent offense, and they know how to stay in attack mode. They got away from attack mode. I don't know what they were doing. And I just think that this was a blessing for them to come out of it, regardless of the adjustments that they made. I think the other team made some adjustments they didn't have to make as well.
Yeah. Well, like I say, Herm, I don't, for me, and again, coming into the season, and I know after this, I want you to get to some of those comments. But Herm, coming into the season, we knew, and I said St. Brown, they're going to play him different. Laporte, they couldn't play those guys the same way they played them last year because those guys killed them. So to me, Herm, I think the rest of this year, what's going to happen with Amon-Ra and with Laporta, to me, more so, they're going to have moments more so than the production and what they did. And they're going to come up in big moments, like Amon-Ra with that big third down catch to kind of seal things. That's what we're going to see more, I think, than the 10, 12 catch, big games because they're not going to let him do that. So I think how we look at Laporta, how we look at St. Brown more so, those guys are going to be big in moments for us. They're going to come up in the big moments that we need them coming up down the line. I think that's how their name is going to resonate and how they're going to be that kind of that piece for us the rest of this year, because teams not going to allow them to kill us. They just not, Herm. They just not going to do that. And the last thing, to your other point, the run game. The Lions know that going into the game, Herm. Everybody know when you want to stop the Lions, you got to stop the run.
Right.
So they're going to come in. Every team, they got to know every time they go into a game, people going to try to stop that run game. What else can we do?
I just wanted to first, real quick, man, let's say what's up to everybody that's on here. We got Keitho. Appreciate you always coming back. Lisa, always there. Dr. Detroit. We love everyone coming in. Hey, say what's up to Chris and Chris.
What up, Chris?
Yeah. And listen, I just want to say we appreciate everybody that comes out and be a part of our stream, man. But, we're all believers of this team right now, and everyone believes in everything that is taking place here in the city. When we talk about the grit, we talk about what they have, and like you said, they're going to be moment players in this team, and that's what they're asking. But they haven't asked anyone, and this is what's been different, I think, in the way Coach Campbell and the staff have built this team, is to break away from caring about your statistics versus your moment, and caring about when we call on you, the dependability. If you look at the completion percentages when he's throwing the ball, when he can have 50-60% completion ratios with his targets, that's a great thing. Now, this wasn't a great game for Goff, but I do believe that when those big moments came up, even though we knew who he was trying to get the ball to, those guys figured out a way to get open. They dialed up everything that they needed to make it happen. One of the best wins I've ever seen from this franchise, these players, and then just seeing how they did it without the panic and without the pressure.
Herm, let me say this real fast. The biggest question mark coming into the season was what? What would you say would have been the biggest question mark coming into the season?
Well, from the fans or from me?
No, I'm saying with the Lions. So for me, the biggest was Jake Bates, the kicker. That was the biggest question mark coming into the season, Man, do we have a kicker? This guy, we got him from the USL, FL, or UFL. Man, can he kick? Never kicked in the pros before. And the guy's perfect, been perfect. Game winners, 50-something yarders. Now, some people getting out of hand talking about somebody was talking about Jason never. I'm like, man, Jason never had a big kick. I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Jason had.
You said
So
Jason. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. So some people started getting out of hand with things, living
yeah,
in the moment.
yeah.
You know,
That's one thing I will say that I you can have a short memory of the history of the Lions. And while we've had great players, we've had some great teams, we've had some great plays, the run that we see and the ability for this team to compete across the league is a little different. I think, there's no question that when you look at the spread of talent nowadays, you just can't stack your teams like you used to. And players now, they chase for different reasons. You can have a guy that's a really successful player that may only play 6 years because not because of injury, but only because they're ready to leave the league that can disrupt your team and your chemistry. I will say this, man. With Bates, it's just kudos, man, because he came in. These are pressure situations. There's been some shakiness that we were looking at early on in preseason and some other areas like, hey, do we get this kind of knocked out and locked down? But to solidify that, which we know as you get tighter and tighter down the season, and the players start to play a little bit more discipline, and teams are having a little bit more coaching behind them and discipline, that the scores get tighter. You just don't find a lot of blowouts, and it comes down to extra points. It comes down to kicking. It comes down to conversion of third downs and those plays and drives and sustainability, play clock, and all those things. So there's a lot that's going to happen between now and the end of the year that still, I don't want to go back to like Philly. We've seen teams like Philly go 10-1, okay, and struggle to close it out. I don't think that's going to happen here, but I'm not going to say anything's ever impossible, so I don't become complacent. And I know this team won't become complacent. I just think you take this great win, you take this victory, you look at where you clean it up, and then you got to get back and get ready. And like you said, I think Jacksonville, you don't want that to be a trip game. And everyone thinks that's a something you just kind of throw out there, but it's real. Sometimes you just find teams that somehow they just sneak up on you and catch you off guard. But again, man, what's up to everyone? You want to go to some of these questions?
hey, you ever thought about the contrast in me and you? Like, I'm more Southern and you sound like a professor sometimes when I be listening to you sometimes. Sound like I'm talking to somebody's professor that just got out of a lecture sometime. And then you listen to me and this Southern down home. You know what I'm saying? Hitting the
Hey, Lomas,
people.
first of all,
Do,
let
you-
me tell
do,
you
do,
something.
do you ever just wonder about that, Herman J. Moore? Does that ever just cross your mind? A guy from Miami and a guy from Virginia, and just how different we are. Did it? Does it?
No, but you know what it is? So you come on here. This is me. I can be articulate and authentic, or I can be whatever else you want to call me. You already know my style.
See them big words?
I'm just trying to listen. I'm just
But
trying to
did
keep
you
it
see
real
the
with you.
big words you just threw out? Articulate. I would have said, I'm just being, down home, Southern.
Man, that is
I
not
wouldn't
what
have
you say.
said
Hey,
that Southern draw. You're gonna
hey,
get that
man.
Southern draw. It wouldn't have been articulate and pronounce how I pronounce my words.
It sounds like you got, hey, brother. It sounds like you
No,
feeling a
I'm just
little faded over there, a little
no,
shake.
I'm just saying
You
though,
good? You good?
I'm just trying to see
You
what
good?
side of what
You
side
good,
of
man?
the people
Man.
lie
Don't,
on,
hey,
do
like
they
old boy
want the
said, hey, you gonna make me come up out of myself. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm trying to keep
No,
it right.
I was
Trying to
just
keep.
sitting back. That just kind of crossed my mind, Herman Moore, when I was just sitting here. I was just like, wow, it's just, okay, I'm
Hey, Lomas, you know
sorry.
what? I was sitting here loving your Southern hospitality too, brother.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you, Herman J. Thank you.
all I know is that we both back our cars into the Waffle House because we understand. All right, we both roll the way we roll. We definitely drop letters and add letters to words that we know damn well don't make sense. So you could call it whatever you want, but you know the realness. Come on,
All right,
come on,
we good,
come on,
Herman J.
come on,
I just
come on.
want to, just want to put something on the thoughts of
Hey man,
Lions
but hey, look,
Unite,
low. Everybody said
the
we're a good
nation,
compliment.
Lions Nation.
Hey, they said, listen, man. They said everything. We're a good compliment to each other. That's all that matters.
Hey, can I tell you a quick story?
Hey, can
Real
I stop you?
fast.
Can
Real
I stop you?
fast.
Can
All
I stop?
right. Look, guess what happened? Wendy went to the game. My wife Wendy went to the game. How come, and we stand in the ritzy area of Houston for the game, how come she got attacked by a homeless lady just this weekend? Yeah, Herm. Hey, I call her the little, hey, she's the flyweight champ of the world. The lady came up to a homeless lady and just started swinging at her. She had to duck and dive. She swung at her 3 times. My wife had a 6-pack or something, and she hit her in the chest with the 6-pack, and that's
What?
what stopped the lady from coming towards her.
Wait a minute,
And
man. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up.
Herm, wait
Whoa,
a minute, Herm,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Herm, let,
Go ahead.
15 minutes later, this same lady attacked some more Lion fans that were in for the game. She hit these other couple, his wife with a stick across the head. So they finally arrested this lady after an hour. They found her and arrested her. And of course, it was mental illness. But the wife had to duck and dive, Herm. I'm like, wait a minute,
Well,
like,
first of
girl.
all, man, wait a minute, Lo. You said what kind of 6-pack were y'all rolling with that she hit her
Well,
with?
she had a 6-pack of sodas because she went to the Walgreens right next door to get it.
Come
Well,
on,
it
man. So
was.
that wasn't no 6-pack of soda. Come
Man, look, man,
on.
I'm just
What was the brand?
telling you.
What was the brand?
Huh?
What was the brand?
It's Fago.
I'm gonna
Fago.
ask you this: was it grape or was it orange? Because
Oh,
if you say it was any other flavor,
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
call
Herm. I'm sorry, not Fago, ginger ale. Ginger
Vernors
ale.
or Canada Dry.
No, we in Houston, Herman. They don't rock the Vernors in Houston. Not like how we rock it here. It was
First of
ginger
all,
ale.
hey Lomas. First of all, you keep talking about that Southern accent, but I don't see you talking to me like this. Hey man, what kind of car that is? You know, that's if you gonna go real Southern on me, you gonna be Dade County and
Hey
Broward.
man.
Hey,
But
hey,
anyway,
what that is you eating? What kind of
look,
car that is?
I brought up that story because I was just trying to tell you how the athletic ability work in the family, Herm, with the duck and the dive. And I was trying to keep it on the lines of sports. You all up there talking about cars and everything. But anyway, what do people want to talk about?
I think
Oh, she
everybody.
said they
Hey,
do
look,
have Fago.
oh damn, we got Rad on. Hey Rad, man, what's up, man?
Deanna said,
Hey, and holler them
but
from
Herm, Deanna said they got Fago in Houston. I didn't know they had
on D.
Fagos there. Yeah,
Hey D, that's what they got. Okay. Hey, what's
yeah.
up? What's up, Rad? What's up, Z? Knock? Let's see what else we got. Dwayne.
Did you get the one about St. Brown?
All right, so we got one on St. Brown. So Chris is gonna bring that back up. Bring it back up for us.
I gotta find it.
Yeah, tell Chrissy to bring that back up. And I like this one. Do you think there's a team in the NFL that can beat the Lions? Do you? Do you, Herman?
I think, yeah, of course there's teams that can
But
beat them.
okay, well, name your team.
I think a team that they're gonna have problems with, not in the NFC. I would say in the NFC, no. I think they can beat every team in the NFC. In the
Okay.
NFL, I think it's a different story. I think the AFC matches up better with the Lions. When you start looking at a team like Baltimore, I think Baltimore is a problem team. I think it's a problem team for the Lions. I think the Eagles could potentially be a problem for them as well. You know,
Why is that, Herman? But tell the people why. Is it because of the mobile quarterback? That's what
Yeah, definitely.
scares you?
Oh, 100%. It's because Lamar, you got Derrick Henry. You already got a workhorse. You already got someone you can give the ball to. But then on top of that, you got a quarterback that if you don't get to, and we already know that defense for the Lions thrives on pressure. If they don't get to the quarterback and they're allowed to set the pocket, and Lamar's gotten better at throwing passes. You look at his touchdowns that he has, and then you look at the touchdowns he produces as a quarterback. I mean, he's a true dual threat. And then their defense is going to be aggressive. They make adjustments. And I watched this with the Baltimore Ravens defense. They don't make adjustments at halftime, right? They make adjustments each time they come off the field. They're doing things differently each time. They're making adjustments to what they saw previously. And you can tell they've studied because what they end up doing is they're making those changes based on personnel. It's a different flow. And I just see that, I think the Bills could potentially. I don't want to say there'll be a problem,
But
but hold on. But listen, you gotta understand what I'm saying, man. Like I think if we look at Tampa Bay and we'll say, okay, Tampa caught Lions in a bad spot. This was at home. They lost a game against the Buccaneers, and I don't think Tampa Bay's one of those top teams. But I think any team can be caught, and that doesn't exclude the Lions from that. So all I'm saying is every game's got to be played. We know that, and I don't want to sit here and be presumptuous and say that, oh, the Lions got it on lock. It just doesn't work that way.
right, you didn't have to say it was on lock, Herman. But
But I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
but I
You
agree
asked
with
me if there's
what you
teams
say,
that can beat them.
but
I'm saying
no.
what team can't win.
But
I mean,
I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I am. I mean, like you said, Baltimore. That's a team that may scare me if we met up with that team. Buffalo. The only reason they don't really scare me is because I know Josh Allen's gonna give us a couple of opportunities a game. Even though he's played so much better this year with the turnovers, but he's still that gunslinger dude that'll give you an opportunity. And with our safeties, especially Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, I just don't think you could be loose with the ball at all. And so that's why Buffalo, that's why I'm not as scared as Buffalo. But
but
I
think
do
about
see
this. But Lo,
Baltimore.
hold on, Lo. But all I'm saying is that these teams, if you know you're going against the Lions secondary, you're not going to throw the ball way down the field to where you're now throwing it against those safeties. You're going to force those safeties down in coverage, or you're going to attack the corners. And also, I'm still having a problem, man, with potential pass interferences. That when teams attacking the rookie. I mean, they're good for one a game if
Right.
they really attack. And here's what
But,
I started to notice. Listen, so Houston knew that. So once they got the one PI, if you look, the safety started cheating over to cover for Arnold. I mean,
but,
they now had a 2-on-1, and now you're bringing your safety, which is your
but,
one of those big
but
players in
Herm,
your secondary, out. Teams
but
know how to scheme
again,
that too.
but the luxury with us is, and you're right, but the luxury with us was that we could get away with one high safety because of Kirby's range. Yeah, and you're right. They started bringing. That's why I'm gonna tell you the reason why Carlton Davis got that first half intercept, that second half interception. As soon as we came out of halftime, he got that interception was because they're playing Brian Branch down in the box more and closer to the line of scrimmage because of his cover ability. See, we our safeties are so unique, Herman. You know this. You don't get no safety that can cover like Brian Branch. I mean, he covers. He could cover like a corner. They put him on the third receiver. They all the time. They'll put him on the tight ends to cover all the time, and they got him playing towards the line of scrimmage because of his range, because he can cover her. So that's why Carlton Davis was so much more aggressive. Because you remember that was an aggressive move he made on that second half interception right out the box. But he knew he had the backup of Brian Branch there, a guy that can cover some mistakes if you make a mistake. So that's why we got the luxury of doing what we can do, Herm. And that's why I think what's so unique about our defense and why we could do some of the things that we can do, play the wide nine technique, because our corners and our safeties, they could come up good on the run support. We're good on the run support. In the past, we weren't. But now, Herm, I think we're really good with coming up and tackling one-on-one. Branch, all those guys, Davis, Amik Robinson, all of them come up and they're good tacklers now, and that's important.
I don't disagree. I just think that I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I know you're looking at it, and it's not to say okay, you don't like. I can make certain calls and say, hey, I think they should do this, that, or on the line. And there's things you're going to see that a trained eye, that because of your trained eye, that I'm not going to be able to see. But I'm just telling you, in the secondary, there are things that I'm looking at, and there's some exposure that I see that if I'm on the other side, even if I'm a veteran receiver, I'm going to go back to my coordinator, and there's things that I'm going to do to set plays. I'm going to pay attention to those safeties. There's baiting that has to take place. I just don't think they've been challenged offensively from the wide receiver standpoint consistently like we're going to probably see with some teams down the stretch. And when you do that, you're going to bring those guys out. We know how to tie up guys. If you can get a safety having to overcompensate because of a corner and their youth, the youthfulness of Arnold, then you've taken two against one. Now the odds have swung in your favor. Now, if I can get another good player on the other side that creates a matchup issue, I can take both of your safeties out. Now I'm going to be
But Herm, don't you think he's gotten better though?
He's gotten a lot better,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
just telling you, he's gotten a lot better. But teams, have thankfully they've chosen not to really throw there because he uses his hands a lot. I mean, this isn't a criticism. This is just, let's stick with the objectivity, the fact,
Observation. Yeah.
right? That he's in position, but he for some reason it's the youthfulness.
So Herm,
And whenever I saw a rookie corner on me, I'm telling you, we would attack that person with at
so
least one
so
or two deep passes
explain this to me. Explain this to me. I don't mean to, but explain this to me because it was a big big subject in the press box on Sunday with us. Why don't they get their heads around Herm? Why don't DBs? What happens to prevent them from just turning? Because if they turn and try to locate the ball, it seems like the refs will let them get away with a little bit more contact. You know what I'm saying?
It's the moment. It's the moment, man. Because when receivers play the ball a lot better. If you look at our safeties, they have an advantage. So when you look at Branch and you look at Joseph, they're coming up and attacking the ball because they see the trajectory of it the entire time. They can see and track the ball differently. When you have to turn your back and then relocate it, we haven't seen them running with their back and then having to make a turn and make an adjustment to then make an interception. They're jumping routes. They're jumping the eye movement of the quarterbacks and stuff like that. They're baiting them. The corners, they panic because they're not used to that. They're told to read the hands and the eyes and the body language of the receiver to understand and gauge when the ball's coming. And I think that's flawed. You have to understand that when the ball's in the air, there's only an amount of time. And as you start to close the gap and you get closer to the receiver, then you need to start playing and looking at and locating the football. Otherwise, it's just I can just throw my hands up like this and make you think the ball's coming. And now you're playing, I would use that against you as a veteran receiver. I would use my eyes to make you think the pass is coming. There's a lot that I would do to go to counteract what they're taught in terms of how to play the football. So a lot of that needs to be, you got to locate the ball, you got to get your head around, and then you got to be able to really start to innately feel where that guy is without having to grab.
Well, it seemed like the good thing, Herm, with Aaron Glenn being a former DB as a DC, and you got Antoine Randall, former wide receiver, as a receiver coach. Seemed like those. So, yeah, okay. I
Hey,
got
Lomas.
you.
Hey, Lo, I think your man's kicked in, huh? I see it and brought you down a little bit.
Well, no, I'm
You
ready.
came out, hey man, you came out for a moment.
Hey,
I'm
but
telling
look,
you, you
I
had some
know you're
lingering
right.
effects of that Fago.
But Herm, look, can I say this? We didn't
Hey,
get back. We didn't.
hey, what was that?
Hey,
That Fago finally wore off, huh?
no, we didn't get back to Detroit, man. I ain't get into bed till 6 o'clock after the Houston game, so we didn't land till like 5 o'clock. So by the time I got home from the airport, it was about 6, man. So I'm still trying to catch up from the other night. But it was, hey, this is the other thing I want to talk about real fast. Herm, they plane rides. It ain't like our plane rides, bro.
What do you mean?
Man, they so business like, man. Oh my God, Herm. It don't matter. Loss, win, big win. It just
Quiet.
yeah, bro. And man, man, we used to be up gambling, dudes all over at somebody else's seat they ain't supposed to be at. You got a little alcohol flowing over here. You know how we used to act the fool on the man. They don't do none of that, man. I be sitting back there like, wow, man, this is so
Hey,
different from
hey,
us.
remind me, man, to never let you into any club that we're in where we want to keep our secrets, man. You
Man,
sitting out there,
hey,
man. Out
man,
there.
look, man, like,
Oh,
look,
listen,
look.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But you
Look,
know
look.
what?
It was
That's
just us. See, nobody else. They can only hear about some of the stuff, but they didn't witness it, Herm. See, we witnessed what went on our flights and
well,
everything.
yeah,
The
because some
average
guys were,
person
yeah,
doesn't.
because you had guys betting their whole game check, and
I
then they were
know,
playing.
man.
Because hey, man, they were strong arming them boys in there, man. Like, you know what? You're gonna pay me my money. And so all of a sudden, before you even get to the game, you playing that whole game free. You don't even
Gone.
have a game check. You out there playing for charity. It's like, you know what? It's just didn't.
Hey,
And depending on who you owe the money to, it gave you motivation because you had to go play because you got to pay that person.
but Herm,
Guys didn't play.
you
They didn't
caught the
play about that.
tail end because remember that one fight. After that one fight on the plane, Wayne made us stop. We couldn't gamble no more on the planes because you right, man.
In
Dudes was
between,
losing paycheck, man. That in between, I
well,
never played that. Y'all
man,
was
dude.
crazy for playing that. I
Hey,
never
guys
played
used to
that.
get caught, man. Look, guys used to get caught on that. I mean,
Yeah,
that spot used to get up to like 20, 25 grand, whatever.
yeah,
All of a sudden,
man.
I was like, well, I'm just sit right here and look
Yeah.
at that. Man, them boys get caught trying to
Y'all was
trying to press.
crazy, huh? Y'all
Yeah,
was crazy for playing that, bro. Yeah, man, there's no way. And then I seen Andre Ware this weekend, so I seen Dre at the game. So we talked, dapped it up, bro hugged and everything. So it was good seeing Dre and everything. He said he's gonna try to get back to alumni weekend if but he got the college schedule. Plus he's doing the Houston Texans radio. He does
Hey,
their radio
hey,
too.
Lo, next time you talk to Dre, tell him, man, I remember we were playing the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna see if I can go find the film. And I ran a quick. We used to run that real quick 3-step out route. And I ran on the right hand side, man. I threw it, and he threw it. The person behind the Saints bench in the front row caught the ball, and he threw his hands up like this to me, like I should have caught the ball. Like I'm like, man, listen, I would have had to go buy me tickets to catch that pass, right, dude? I mean, I'm like, come on, man.
Oh my
So I remember
goodness.
Dre used to be funny, man. But
Yeah, man. Dre's a trip, man. I never forget that team meeting, man, when he was talking about Mike Favre. So we'll leave it there. But
yeah,
man, I told him that when I seen him, I was like, boy, the funniest thing you ever did when you stood up in that team meeting, man. That thing, man, I'll never forget that, man. But that'd be the great things that go on in locker rooms when you're around guys as much as we're around them. Man, you build those lifetime memories, man. So it was good seeing Dre, man.
oh, absolutely. What's up, Joseph? What's up, Darcy, Drago? We got who else we got in here? We got Joseph. Hey, appreciate y'all coming on. Hey, I know, Lo, we're coming up on it, man. So, what's your takeaway first and foremost, man? I mean, any last closing thoughts on not only the Lions right now for what they got going on? Let's see what we got here. Just wanted to tell you, bro. I just now found out that it wasn't in the Hall of Fame yet, but you're gonna be next year. Good luck, bro. You deserve it. No, I appreciate it. I always say this. I appreciate that, Joseph. And Lo, no, I mean this. And I say this, man. It's true to my heart, man. Between like Lomas, um, he needs to be in there before I even get there. This guy's put in his dues. He's got a 7-time Pro Bowler, yeah, 2-time All Pro, and one of the guys, man, as you see, is salt to the earth. He's a community man. He's got that bright smile, brings that love. Jason Hanson. I hope all these guys get an opportunity. I'll get there if God willing. I'm supposed to be there. I'll be there. If not, as long as I stay a Hall of Famer in the fans' hearts, man, that's cool with me. But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Malo, I want to find out, man, if you got any closing thoughts on as far as like this past game in terms of what your takeaways were, and then what are you looking for coming up this week?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just looking for the Lions to stay true to themselves and a team, like you said, that take it game by game. They know they got a Jacksonville team coming in here who probably gonna have a new head coach at the end of the year. The quarterback probably gonna be out. Trevor Lawrence is a question mark whether he's gonna play or not. That's a team in disarray down there in Jacksonville, but it's a desperate team. It's a team that doesn't have anything to lose. And, they're going to come in here and try to throw everything they can at the Lions. But I just think the Lions are just so focused, have been executing at such a high level. And I think, Herm, to be honest with you, that Houston game should be a wake-up call, especially for our offense, because they see how good our defense is playing right now. I think the offense, like we used to, they want to step it up and help the defense out since they're playing so well. So I think we'll handle our business. I expect us to handle it. Maybe it looked like a Tennessee game. It should look more like the Tennessee game we played when we put up a lot of points on those guys and dominated them. So, just another step towards getting to where we're trying to get at the end of the season.
All right, I echo that, man. And my closing part on that is, I think this was every team needs a defining moment. They need a game that kind of defines who they are and it brings it all together. And a lot of people think that's that statement win, but I think it's facing that staring at that adversity that they had and the mounting turnovers. They look after the first half like, how do you bounce back from this? You got momentum going on the opponent's side. You're on the road. And it's not going to get any better. You're in front of 71,000 people, and you got to figure out and find a way not to quit. And this team didn't. This team continued to fight back. They did it methodically. They did it piece by piece, brick by brick. And in doing that, they used all the things that we said made this team whole. And again, that was the fact that they were resilient, that they had, everyone is talking about the grit. We're talking about they are, standing in there as one. They're unselfish. and they're doing whatever is necessary to get the win and get the dub. So in doing that, I think it brought the coaches together, it brought the players together, and if anything, if they ever face this challenge again, they're going to understand that, you know what, it's not an impossible feat. This team is built for it, and that they can go out and make this work. And so kudos to them, kudos to the organization and what they've been building and what they continue to build. And looking forward to see what happens, man. You know, the Jaguars are not going to be just an easy game, but I think every game you take it serious. So let's see how they handle that. And that's all I had on it, man. It's appreciate you coming on, man, as always. You and I, we love getting in here. I'm going to work on my Southern draw a little bit. I'll make
work
sure
on it, man.
that when I get on here with you, that I sit there and talk about these guys just like you want me to.
And then I'm gonna work on my Herman more. I'm gonna work on that, talking like that, so that all my words are pronounced and they come out and they're clear for everybody to hear.
Listen, hey, all I do is this. You need to go down there and make sure that you get the most out of your scholarship with them Gators down there in Florida, man. I know Virginia did me well. UVA, man, that's how we roll. They make sure that I can go all between, man. I feel comfortable in anywhere.
Yeah, me too.
You let me know how we roll.
Me too, Herman J.
Man,
it's just something about that southern draw. It's something about that
southern draw gonna get us messed
it
up.
makes you, especially with winter coming up here, you want to feel warm and cozy inside. There's something about thinking about down south.
Hey,
they don't want to hear that up north, northern or wherever you're from, Herman.
If you want to be warm and feel that sun, go inside, turn the thermostat to 90. You'll be all right.
Man, people don't want to be inside doing that. They don't want to be inside doing that. People want to be outside, Herman, more. People don't want to be indoors,
Lomas,
man. They don't want to feel trapped. We went through COVID, Herman. We went through that. We went through isolation. We want to get out. We want to enjoy the atmosphere. We want to be out amongst people. Come on, Herman J. Talk to me.
Lomas.
Goodness.
All I know is this. You make sure you. I ain't gonna start with you.
Yeah, you got me wiping. You got me perspiring over here, man. Sometimes we're dealing with you.
Go in there and turn the damn heat down. What's wrong with you?
Boy. All right. I know these people tired.
Hey, you guys want some of this swag? Make sure you check it out. You can check us out.
Oh, you ain't even. Do you have the whatchamacallit for Jaguars?
Oh yeah, we got those.
I know you don't have it with you, but
we don't have it with. I don't have it with me, but we will be giving out this week. The Jaguar blanket that's one of my favorites. I always say I got top 5 of the Herman Low swag gear and all the stuff we have. And Low, I think we should turn some of those into shirts too. So maybe we should pop some of those up as t-shirts. But the Jaguar blanket is boss. I like that one.
Yeah.
It's different. It's called Odd Rods, and we got something else that's going to be pretty sweet coming up with those, Low. I got to show you. But again, Kings of the North. There it is. Bam. Y'all know about that. You know you want it. We got them in sweatshirts. We got them in hoodies. We got them in everything you want. But Low, I'll make sure we get those for some folks. We'll get that Herman Low blanket, Jaguar blankets out.
All right. Cut us off, Chrissy.
And Houston's out right now. Chrissy was telling me for a discount. You know, so you can get
Oh, yeah.
Texans. Those are cool because those
Chrissy,
are the national
we can hear her in the background.
Yeah, those are the national hey, look, man, we doing just like they do on these major networks.
Tell Chrissy we can hear her in the background.
We doing just like they do on the major networks. She's sitting right there.
Why she can't get on camera? People get tired of looking at you too sometime, her. Why you can't put Chrissy on camera sometime? Why you got to hog up all the time? Why you got to hog up all the hog maws? You want to eat up all the pig feet. You want to eat up all the collard greens. You just want it all. Cut us off, Christy, because I'm losing my mind over here.
Boss,
go ahead and cut us off.
He ain't working. Hey, you better get that dish dug by sundown. All right, man. I appreciate everybody. Peace out.